Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to Rewind. I got your first spooky episode coming at you. My name is Jordan Klein. I'll be your host. And tonight we are talking about Ghostbusters. It's good to have y'all back again. Coming at you with episode 4 of Rewind. My name is Jordan Klein again. And I hope you guys had a good week. I had a really busy one. I ran 2 shows or 2 sales shows, whatever you want to call them, on Whatnot. And it was wild. I mean, I ran the first show on Friday night for an hour, and then I went again on Saturday for I think it was 2.5 hours. And I sold 20 tapes. It was really good. Cleared out some inventory. Hooked up some people with stuff that they've been really wanting. I had a couple extra copies of Lost Boys that I sold that I'm regretting now. Well, I'm not regretting, but the custom Lost Boys that I made is not working correctly. So, not a big deal. I'm just going to have to take it apart and put some other tape parts on it. I think this white tape part that I'm using on the bottom is big, and it's not going into the VCR correctly the way it should. So before we get too deep into more VHS talk and the movie that we are talking about tonight, which is Ghostbusters, the original, we will be watching the original Ghostbusters movie RCA release. And this is a full flap tape, my only full flap. If you don't know what that means, most of the tapes either come top loader, which is, like a normal tape, how it has the opening, I guess, at the bottom, and you slide the tape out. There's also side loader, where most of, I want to say, most blank tapes and that kind of stuff, you load it from the side. Well, full flap is a side loader, but it has a flap on the side that you open up, so that when the VHS is in its case, it's fully encapsulated in the cardboard. So on the front, you see the logo. It looks very similar to the poster. It's got the Ghostbusters No Ghost logo with Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Sigourney Weaver's name on the bill. And then Harold Ramis and Rick Moranis a little bit smaller. And then on the sides, you see the Ghostbuster logo on both sides. And then on the back, a couple of pictures. Sigourney Weaver as Dana or Zulu, whatever. A picture of Slimer, and then a picture of all the guys suited up and about to shoot. I guess it's one of the end scenes on the roof. And it says it's rated PG, which is kind of crazy. A lot of movies that came out in the 70s and the 80s are PG. I was just posting up today on my Instagram. One of my favorites, Altered States, which I will do on a podcast for sure. I'm thinking about having my former bandmate and buddy, Parker Howard, who is on one of my favorite podcasts, Breakfast of Champions, with my buddy Renee, who was on episode 2 with me. I think I'm going to have him on to talk about Altered States, because he used to have a VHS watching club. He's seen a lot of weird movies. There's a lot of intellectual talk and whatnot in that movie, and it'll be fun for us to kind of break it down. And then our band Unspell, we used a clip from that movie at the beginning of one of our songs called Obscurete. And I basically wrote this song about that movie. it's about just nothingness and darkness because the movie pertains to a deprivation tank. But the crazy thing that I was talking about earlier is it's rated PG, and like literally within the first like 15 minutes of the movie, there's a lady smoking a joint, and then there's a sex scene where you see like naked people. So I'm like, what? And then he's like on the mountain, like traveling to get like these drugs in this like third world country so he can like trip in the deprivation tank or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. PG. Awesome. I don't know. I guess I need to do some more research on the rating system and how that goes about because that is wild to me. Because yeah, I mean, there's a lady smoking a joint like straight up in like the second scene of the movie, and then he's having sex, and there's like boobies and stuff like full on. So, yeah, we got to check out. We got to do an episode on the rating system, but definitely gonna have somebody on, maybe Parker and Renee, to talk about that one because of its relation to our band and the song that I wrote. So, in case you guys don't know, on this podcast we talk about movies, VHS, collecting physical media, whether it's VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, Laserdisc, whatever kind of media you watch. I don't know if you have like streaming services, you're downloading it all to the cloud, which it will not be physical. But, I'll mention, if one of these movies that I'm watching is on one of the streaming services where you can watch it too. But Ghostbusters, it's a pretty common one. A lot of people have seen that. So I'll be like talking about different scenes that I like, remember memories that I have from watching the movie back in the day, cool facts, and just, if it makes me feel some kind of way or whatever. Another thing I want to mention about this podcast is like 90% of the time, except for last week, I record these episodes in one shot because normally I don't have a lot of time to record the episode uninterrupted by, my children, the dog, whatever, people running around. I record the episode in my house, in my little room with all of my records and with all my tapes where I don't have to be interrupted. And then, I normally record it in one shot. I don't really want to go back and edit things. I can, but it's not very much fun for me. The fun part is, I guess, watching the movies, talking about them, collecting them, hearing you guys' responses to different things that I talked about in my episodes and whatnot, not like spending a million hours editing. And, I could pay someone to do it. I can't afford to right now. I might eventually. But, it's just hard. I have two small children, 4 and 6, and it's summertime. And I decided it would be a good idea to like be stay-at-home dad this summer and do fun stuff. Well, it's been really hard, and summer sucks actually. So, not gonna lie, having a little bit of a hard time, but it is what it is. You live and you learn. Luckily, I have a solid support system through my wife, who is the one that's working all the time, and she's a great mother. I love her very much. We just had our 15th anniversary of when I asked her to be my girlfriend, which was the day after Michael Jackson died. What was that, like yesterday? And, she's really awesome. She supports us in many different ways. I also have a good support system of my friends who are also fathers who have children that are older than mine who have been through this before. So they have a lot of good information and good ideas about, getting a schedule going, things we can do, free things, like cool things to do on like a small budget. So yeah, I mean, we've been playing out in the backyard a lot. We've been going to the park. We've been doing all kinds of outdoor stuff, except it's already so hot, and it's just a bummer, man, because after like an hour or so in this Texas heat where we live, it's grueling, man. It's just so hot. Like I'm getting wet with them too because I'm like, I have to. It's so hot outside. And I guess the way that I used to cool off was just have a couple of adult bevies, but now the soda water just doesn't hit the same, I guess. So I like to be completely open with you guys. I want to be able to connect with you, and if you are struggling with a substance abuse problem, definitely, talk to somebody, talk to one of your friends, talk to your family, and there's lots of programs out there that can help you. Um, I'm not trying to boast or brag, but if you just want to quit cold turkey, you can do it. I did it. I just hit 9 months sobriety, and if you knew me before when I was drinking, you would probably think, "Oh, that guy. No, he would never. He could not." But it's not that hard. You can do it. If I can do it, literally anybody can do it because I had no off switch. So, wasn't getting blacked out drunk and making a bunch of mistakes and stuff. Just wanted to party all the time. Never really had a way or a reason to be like, oh, I'm good. I would just keep going, keep going. Yeah, let's keep the party going. And when you got to wake up in the morning and take care of kids and stuff, and you're about to be 40 years old, that hangover just hits way, way different. But hey, that's TMI. I want you guys to know that you can talk to me if you need somebody to talk to and you don't have anyone else to talk to about it. I'm here. Hit me up on social media, or you can email me at remindrewindpod@gmail.com with any questions, comments, concerns. If you need help with anything, you can. Email me anonymously or whatever, or just make a fake account, and I'll do whatever I can to help you out. Just like Venkman in Ghostbusters, trying to help out old Sigourney Weaver.
All your supernatural elimination needs.
We're ready to believe you.
They're ready to believe you. These guys are here to help. Wow, that's an awesome CRT TV, which are appearing in my dreams now. So if you guys don't know what a CRT TV is, it's what they're calling these tube TVs. So the things that we all had that we probably set on the curb and didn't think twice about, I literally have dreams about those kind of TVs now. It's kind of weird. Yeah, just crazy. Oh, there's the Stay Puft Marshmallows in it, but it doesn't have the little logo in the movie. This is where the eggs are jumping out of the carton when she first gets home. Love that, like, synthesizer, psychedelic music. It's like in her refrigerator. It came from the fridge. Starring Sigourney Weaver. Oh, yeah, get out of there. It's like, oh, the milk is bad. Man, when I was growing up, I straight up loved the Ghostbusters. It was definitely an obsession for me. That and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was born in 1984, so both of those things were really hot and were, the marketing and stuff was aimed towards kids once they started coming out with all the toys and the animated series. Man, the animated Ghostbusters series is totally awesome. That is definitely on my grail list of VHS tapes that I'm looking for. Is they have the original, what they call the real Ghostbusters, that came out in like the 70s or the 80s, and then there's the 90s Ghostbusters, which I like a little bit better. It's just awesome. I loved all the 90s cartoons, Ghostbusters, X-Men, Ninja Turtles, all that stuff was just like right up my alley. I mean, Ghostbusters, I had everything. I had all the toys. I had a comforter set for my bed. I had curtains. I had a Slimer toy. I have a Stay Puft toy. I had the backpack. I had my own suit. And my favorite character is Harold Ramis's character, Egon Spangler, and I would take like sunglasses and pop the lenses out of them and wear them like glasses so I could be like Egon Spangler because I thought he was the coolest. Gives you a little info about me, I guess, whatever. I'm an Egon Spangler guy. I'm a Donatello guy. I guess X-Men, I'm like a Gambit or Wolverine, like the kind of like outlaw, kind of loose cannon kind of guy or whatever. But Harold Ramis, he definitely played the part, and I was enthralled by his character and just him. He's an amazing actor. I know he did some directing too. Cool dude, super cool dude. We lost him a couple of years ago. Shout out Harold Ramis, the man, the master, the legend. Here he is right here.
Well, of course I'm telling the truth. Who would make up a story like that?
Some are people who just want attention. Others are just nutballs who come in off the street.
You know what it could be?
Oh.
Past life
Well, that's
experience
Dan
intruding
Aykroyd.
on present time.
Could be erased memory stored in the collective unconscious. I wouldn't rule out clairvoyance or telepathic contact either.
I love how smart he
I
was.
don't believe in any of those things.
Well, that's all right. I don't either. But there are some things we do, standard procedures in a case like this, which often bring us results.
Well, I could go to Hall of Records and check out the structural
Yeah,
details
this
in the
is,
building.
probably has something to do with Bill Murray's character trying to get with Sigourney Weaver, because the movie starts off straight up with him like I guess being like a chauvinist kind of like male guy, which is very prominent in 80s movies for sure and 90s movies. This is long before cancel culture and women were treated right. There was still that sort of attitude in film where the guy is trying to woo or make some sort of impression on the woman in a way where he might be able to get with her. This is one of the best scenes right here with Bill Murray.
I hate this. I like to torture him. That's right, boys. It's Dr. Venkman.
He's here.
It's a lot of space.
Yeah, it's always with the apartments in New York. There's always some sort of comment on, oh wow, this place is really great, or whatever. But too bad it's haunted, right? That refrigerator. A little cool thing I'll mention about Bill Murray before I forget to mention it is I got to meet him one time. I was living in Austin, and the movie theater that's gotten some press lately, maybe not the best, but they're on the up and up. Hopefully, is Alamo Drafthouse. They used to do a lot of cool movie screenings and that sort of thing. Well, they did this big promotion for Bill Murray's movie City of Ember, which is based loosely around like a people moving underground because of some cataclysmic event or whatever. So they had a party in a cave where everybody took a bus, and then we went to this Longhorn Caverns, and we literally walked like a quarter of a mile like down into a cave. They had a DJ. They were serving drinks. They were showing clips from the movie on the wall. And Bill Murray was there, and we straight up got to meet him. And he was super cool, super chill. He let me take a picture of him and my buddy Marcus. He was just super chill. And it was really, really cool. And, it was cool to meet him and him be like so real because of growing up loving this movie and then also being very connected to and feeling the movie Lost in Translation. To me, he's like one of the biggest, coolest actors in my world, and I got to chill with him and party in a cave, and we were like drinking Bacardi and shit. It was fucking awesome. And he was super down to earth. We didn't get to talk about like movies or whatever, but he was chilling and we were cheers and drinks and we were dancing and stuff. It was super super cool, and he was really chill. And when you get to a party in a freaking cave, like a real ass cave with stalagmites and stalactites with Bill Murray, only in Austin, I guess. Keep it weird, right? Well, hopefully Alma Drafthouse is gonna keeping it weird and stay in business, because that place is really cool. I also watched the movie that I was in, an extra in, on the screen there on South Lamar, which was really cool. And we'll talk about that more in another episode. If you know, you know. But that'll have to be a whole thing where we watch the movie True Grit, and I'll talk about what it was like being an extra and all that jive. It was cool. It was a long days, long nights. Waking up really early. Eating craft services food and being bossed around by some young PA or whatever. But it was cool. I mean, I got yelled at by one of the Coen brothers, so that was kind of cool. I'll always remember that. And it's Texas, so it's freaking hot, obviously. We were dressed, like in 40s attire or whatever, so things were thick and itchy and whatnot. But back to Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is getting a lot of love because of these remakes and the newer films that are coming out. I know they've had a lot of success. I'm friends with some dudes that are my age that are still like super Ghostbusters like savvy and like into it and showing their kids and stuff. And I know I'll show my kids eventually, but I don't know. We don't do a lot of like ghost stuff yet. When I was a kid, I mean, my son's going to be in 2nd grade in August. I was already watching like scary movies and shit because it was a competition between me and my sister of, who's going to get scared first or whatever. And my dad didn't care. He would let us rent anything and have very vivid memories of going to Eckerd's to rent videos and seeing the all the movies displayed, all the boxes, and all the covers, and this one looks really scary and this one looks really cool. And this was at a time where you couldn't just go out and buy every movie. You had to rent it. And some movies that I really loved, those were like rental only type things. Like you couldn't go out and buy a copy of like Hackers or which is still a movie that a lot of people are. This is a really sought after one, or Monster Squad, which are these like classic 80s and 90s different kinds of thrillers and horrors and all this kind of thing. And like you couldn't just go out and find a copy of that. It was. I remember Monster Squad. My neighbor had like a dubbed copy that we like, dubbed the tape or whatever, and we watched that thing so many times we freaking wore it out. Like it wouldn't even work anymore. And we would just show it to everyone that we could, like, oh, you haven't seen Monster Squad? It's the best, Wolfman's Gotten Hard. So like it was just, it was a coming of age movie, but like in a like scary monster type way, kind of like the Goonies, but more like scary. If you've never seen it, basically, like all of the famous horror movie characters kind of come to life, and they're trying to like I don't know, I guess end the world for this little small town, and Dracula's the main guy, and Wolfman's there, and the Swamp Thing, and Frankenstein. They kind of or Frankenstein's monster, they befriend him, and they kind of get them on their team, and it has this great montage of them like getting all the like stakes ready to like stab the vampires with, and like smelting like silver bullets and shit. Like it's so fucking cool. It's like in the 80s in shop class, like, oh, no big deal, I'm just fucking making some bullets over here, don't mind me or whatever. I'm just making this some stakes so I can go fucking kill a bunch of vampires. Don't worry about that. Like, Just keep making your birdhouse, and don't worry about me. Oh gosh, another great scene here. They're in the hotel, and I always loved how the toilet paper looked after they shot it with the.
Sorry.
Sorry. I'm sorry. We thought you were someone else. Successful test.
I guess so. I think we better split up.
Good idea.
Yeah, we can do more damage that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such an awesome scene, and then you'll get to see Slimer here really soon. And it's so funny how in the movie Slimer is so like like a bad kind of like ghost character. Oh gosh, Dan Aykroyd's smoking a cigarette inside. That's classic. Oh, I love it. Yeah, you can see it hanging from his lip. Oh my gosh, Slimer.
Beckman? Beckman!
I was not scared of this movie at all when I was a kid. I loved Slimer. Like the special effects are like just perfect. Like it's cheesy, but it's like not. Like it kind of looks real. And back then everything looked so real and it was so not. But it's just so much different looking now, with all the CGI and all that, where like this is like they're straight up breaking shit and like they're really setting shit on fire inside, and like they're not faking it. And all their little toys and gadgets and the guns and the proton packs and all that stuff are like so amazing. Whoever made all that stuff just did the best job. Oh, this part's great.
Beckman! I saw it!
It's right here, Ray. It's looking at me.
He's an ugly little spud, isn't he?
I think he can hear you, Ray.
Oh, God.
Don't move. It won't hurt you.
About to get slimed. Oh, the proton packs just look so awesome and heavy.
Beckman, what happened?
He's laying on the ground like a turtle.
That's great! Actual physical contact! Can you move?
Ray, come in, please.
I feel so funky.
Spengler, I'm with Beckman. Oh. He got slimed!
That's great, Ray. Save some for me. Get down here right away. I just went into a ballroom.
Oh,
Okay, we'll be
no.
right there.
Oh, great. And you get to see, I always wanted to do this. It's so cool. Again, not CGI. They're straight up just wrecking this ballroom, smashing everything. Perfect. Yeah, I was not afraid of this movie or any other movies. The first movie that ever scared me was The Exorcist. My Uncle John showed it to me when I was probably way too young. I think I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, and he had showed me Lost Boys, and I loved it. And he had showed me Star Wars and some other movies, and he knew that I like scary movies, so he was like, let's check this one out. And it freaked me the fuck out. I was so scared. We had to turn it off when she's like hovering above the bed and like throwing up the pea soup and all that stuff. I'm just like, oh my God, I was freaked. And yeah, that one scared me. And then Pet Sematary, the guy, the ghost of the guy that gets hit by the semi truck or whatever, like, oh my God, I had like nightmares about that whenever I saw that. But I saw so many other scary movies like Candyman and Creep Show and a bunch of other like weird kind of gory stuff and It and other things, and like that stuff didn't scare me at all. Child's Play, Gremlins, whatever. But those couple of scenes definitely stuck with me. And I wouldn't say like it's because of that, but I loved horror movies growing up so much as a kid, but as an adult, I really wasn't into them, and I still am not, and I'm trying to get into it. I'm trying to watch all different kinds, whether it's like a psychological thriller or it's something really gory or, just these cult classics, all this new stuff like the Jordan Peele stuff. I'm going to watch Get Out. I have a really cool bootlegged kind of custom copy I got on VHS of Get Out. So I'm definitely going to watch that in a later episode. But, it hasn't really been my bag. Comedy has always been my thing. So, something like this, Ghostbusters, is great because it's got that, scariness to it, I guess, or whatever. But, it's more like a comedy kind of thing with some scary parts. All right, they're sucking in Slimer right now, not crossing the streams.
I looked at the trap, Ray.
Bring your streams off as soon as I close the trap. Get ready. I'm closing it.
The trap is so sick. I had a trap toy when I was growing up, and I freaking loved it. It was awesome and had like a little, thing you would stomp on, and it would open up. And I had all of the freaking Ghostbusters toys, and I also had for the action figures, the big grail piece is the firehouse, and I had the firehouse. I had it set up and played with it for years and years. It just sat in my room. And I played, the Turtles with it. I played Ghostbusters with it. I remember specifically, I had lost a tooth, and I didn't put it under my pillow for the Tooth Fairy. I put it in the Ghostbusters house for the Tooth Fairy to come find the Ghostbusters firehouse toy. I remember setting it on top of it, and then waking up in the morning and there's 50 cents there or whatever. Yeah, the ghost of Tooth Fairy or whatever. I guess my mom knew where it was hiding. I probably had to show her or my dad. They're like, "Oh, where did you put it again? Want to make sure the Tooth Fairy can find it." I'm like, "Oh, the Tooth Fairy will know where it is, Dad. Don't worry." But yeah, I mean, I was just lucky to have my parents. We grew up watching, The Simpsons as a family and lots of raunchy kind of stuff. And, I guess my sisters were too young to really pay attention that much. They had all their stuff that they liked, but I definitely enjoyed watching those movies. And I remember my dad, showing me his favorite movies, which were Easy Rider and Blazing Saddles. And I remember watching those both, with him the first time, and then going back and watching Easy Rider later, with my teenage friends, and, we get stoned or whatever. And I'm like, oh, let's watch Easy Rider because there's that acid scene. It's all trippy and stuff. We were always trying to watch, something cool, something that, had some depth to it where, after we were done watching it, we could, have a conversation, whether it be about, culture or different, deeper themes in movies. When I was a teenager, there were a lot of shockers coming out that, everybody had to see and everybody talked about it. If you hadn't seen these movies, you had to rent it or you had to borrow it from a friend. The ones I'm talking about specifically would be Natural Born Killers, which is super trippy and weird and has weird cut scenes and black and white and trippy stuff. And then Requiem for a Dream, which is based on a Hubert Selby book, which I had a really hard time getting through, but I did. Gosh, I want to say I read it. This was 20 years ago, but that movie was really, really crazy. Jared Leto, Jennifer Connelly, and Shooter McGavin. I can't remember his real name, but he has a great part. That movie was super messed up, super crazy, drug use and just weirdness. Another weird one was either Kids or Gummo. You had to see one of those two movies and talk about them. And it's kind of one of those things like, oh, have you seen it? And like, oh yeah, he's got a copy. I remember like I lent someone out my Gummo DVD years ago. Don't remember who, but if you've got it, I'll take it back. I guess I have another copy on DVD now, but yeah, sure, you got to give it back to me. I remember getting it at Half Price Books for probably $5 or $7, and now it's probably a $20-something DVD. I think the director Harmony Korine, who directed Kids and Gummo, those are both really sought after. And then another movie that I never saw that he did, Julian Donkey Boy, that is another one that is another really sought after film. I'd like to see that one, but I don't have a copy. If anyone does, let me know. I will be watching Kids on the pod. I have it. I just got it on VHS. I haven't watched it yet. I'm waiting to be in the right mindset, because it is a very shocking and depressing movie, even though the actors do such a good job portraying the life of these characters in that time. And then Harmony Korine does an amazing job of capturing that like spirit, but it's just a really fucked up, like, sad movie. And then, a common thing among the movies that I love is it's got an amazing soundtrack. The Kids soundtrack is top notch. Whether it's the songs by the Casper character that are like super lo-fi, or Slint has a song in it, Good Morning Captain, which is on their album Spiderland, which is something else my uncle showed me that I was very attached to and loved. Really cool slowcore band from the 90s on Touch and Go Records, Slint. If you've never heard them, definitely check them out. They have a full length and a couple EPs, and then they put out a documentary a couple years ago. Shit, I probably watched it when I was stoned and I don't remember, but it's out there. Love to see that too. Slint, yeah, check them out. Folk Implosions on the soundtrack. Check out the Kids soundtrack. It's really awesome. The whole soundtracks and movies thing has been really interesting, because I've been watching some other movies and doing some research and, just trying to put together an interesting show. And another common theme with these movies that I loved is like they never put out a soundtrack. Like Ferris Bueller, they never put out an official soundtrack until years later or whatever. And then I was just looking on another one I want to do, Boiler Room, with Giovanni Ribisi and Ben Affleck and Vin Diesel. The soundtrack is amazing. It's all these like super cool underground hip hop tracks. It's got a Tribe track in it. All this super cool stuff, and they never put out the soundtrack for it. I'm guessing they didn't want to pay the royalties, but the movie is just like chock full of all these amazing like 90s underground, not as popular like hip hop songs, like DJ Premier type hip hop songs, like real deep cuts with, awesome samples and awesome production, and not like the fancy, top 40 hits or whatever, but these just cool deep cuts. And I know they made that movie with like a very limited budget. I wonder what the budget on this Ghostbusters was. I should probably look that up, because all the toys and all this stuff is just crazy. Here they're messing with the ghost contraption. Let's see what they call it. I don't remember.
And the light is green, crap is clean. Ghost is incarcerated here in our custom-made storage facility.
There's a man from the EPA here to see you. He's waiting in your office.
Yeah, so they build this thing that holds all the ghosts, which is going to come to bite them in the ass in the end of the movie if you haven't seen it before. I think it plays a part in the other movies too. It's where they keep all the ghosts that they catch in traps, and then we'll see what happens with that later. So Ghostbusters, the original, awesome movie. What I decided I think I'm going to do is I'm going to break this one up into a two-parter. Because I'd like to spend a little bit more time talking about Ghostbusters, but I just wanted to jump on and kind of talk about some other things, the Bill Murray thing, the VHS collecting, catch you guys up on like what's going on right now in the VHS world, and we'll talk about a couple more scenes from Ghostbusters, and then we're gonna make this a two-parter, and I will talk about Ghostbusters a little bit more on part 2 of the episode next week. But for right now, we'll just talk a little bit about some things going on in the VHS world. In case you guys haven't heard, which I'm not sure most of you have, it's little, but it's big. So the VHS community is growing. We are small, but we are strong. That's what they say on Whatnot. There are lots of us out there that are collecting. So the horror movie thing has been hot for a minute, right? There's places around us. There's places in other states where they have horror movie festivals and horror cons and all that stuff like constantly. So they put out a re-release of a horror movie called Terrifier 2 in a 2 VHS set, and they are selling it right now in Walmart for $29.99. A VHS tape in 2024 in Walmart, and the VHS community is losing their freaking minds. Like, there are these guys that I've been talking to. They went to 11 this one dude went to 11 different Walmarts, drove over 160 miles total. And oh wait, here's the Twinkie scene.
Twinkie, 35 feet long, weighing approximately 600 pounds.
That's a big Twinkie.
We could be on the verge of a fourfold cross rip, a PKE surge of incredible.
So these dudes are losing their mind trying to find this tape. I checked my Walmart, and the MOD, the merchandise on display area where it's supposed to be, is still the old display, empty. It's an old Netflix Stranger Things display, and it's completely empty. So I'm just waiting for them to change it out and put that Terrifier 2 in tape in there, and then I'll probably get a copy just to have one. But I mean, it's $30, and there's some reselling on eBay right now that copy for like $80 to $100, which is totally crazy. And so that's really upsetting. You know, some of the community, you know, they're calling these people scalpers, and they're saying they're ruining the market and blah blah blah. Which it does kind of suck, because there are these guys out there that really, really want this tape. So I see where some people are reselling it for like $50 because they're just trying to help the other guy out and get it. You know, after eBay fees, they're making maybe $5 off of it. So that's going to pay for them going to Walmart and back. I get that, but you know, people bidding it up, maybe they just can't get it, and you know that's what they want to do. But I mean, a lot of people are saying, you know, in a couple of years, these tapes are going to be just like all, you know, the other ones, a dime a dozen. You're going to be able to find it everywhere, which is cool. But, you know, I want to ride the wave. You know, I want to get me a tape. I want to watch it. I've never seen Terrifier 1 or Terrifier 2. I know that Terrifier 1 was made on a very small budget horror movie. And then on Terrifier 2, this one that they have in the Walmarts, they had a bigger budget, so it's got a lot of more frills, and you know, I guess the scenes aren't as campy as the first one. I'm sure they still are, but you know, I like to get it and see it, even without, you know, I'm not going to be able to get the first one for a reasonable price. I mean, I'd probably pay $30 or more for that, but you know, I want to see what people are talking about on this new one. I've seen some clips from it. I saw a guy watching it on Whatnot. It looks pretty weird. There's like a clown. It's got a clown on the cover. But, I mean, if you are still into collecting VHS and you like horror, make your way down to Walmart. I mean, this is not a paid advertisement. Make your way down to Walmart with, you know, $30 plus tax. So you're looking at about $40 for Terrifier 2. And I've heard it's a really good rip. It is in the 4:3 aspect ratio, which is what a lot of these movies are supposed to be viewed in. You know, there's the 4:3 aspect ratio, there's the widescreen, there's the full screen. I have my VCR and TV set to the 4:3 aspect ratio, and you know, it's kind of like a square. You know what 4:3 is. It's not 4:4, but I guess it's more of a rectangle, but it does leave a little couple of like black lines on the side of most of these newer TVs. But like I said, I'm trying to get one of those CRT TVs. I'm trying to get me an old tube TV. A couple of years back when Hank was little, found a TV VCR combo, like a little 10-inch, on the street corner. It worked. I had it. We played tapes on it, and I got rid of it, and it is haunting me now because I want one of those so badly. So if you have an old 2 TV sitting around and you want to get rid of it, hey, hit me up, and we'll make a deal. And I know my friend Erica, you're holding on to some tapes for me. If you're listening to this, I'm still going to get those, and I have your TMNT2 Secret of the Ooze custom waiting for you. That would be the first custom that I made for someone, besides myself. Real quick, guys, before I get off of here, if you have any comments, any requests, any questions, like I said, we're going to be doing the second part of Ghostbusters next week. So get in your questions or comments now, and I will definitely get to those on the show. I'm going to do a little bit more research and have some more cool facts about the movie and not just all the nostalgia and stuff that I remember. And if you follow me on any of the socials, you'll be seeing me make some posts, and I'll be sharing, like I said in the podcast before this, I'll be sharing lots more movie centric stuff, pictures of my tapes and my collection, and hit me up, rewindpod@gmail.com. And if you're listening to me on Spotify or Apple Music, please give me the highest ranking you could give me. That would be great. Love to get bumped up in that algorithm in the movies area for some people to listen to the pod. Definitely trying to promote through various ways. Definitely talking to all the VHS heads on whatnot, and I know a couple of them have been listening to my pods. Shout out Thalid. I don't know if that's how you say it. But I know he was listening to the pod, and he made a great suggestion of, me putting a link up on there and, trying to get some more people to it. So, like, if you're listening on Spotify, just click those 3 dots near the top right side and click rate show, and then 5 stars. That's all it takes. It's very easy. Hit me up on any of the socials or send me an email at rewindpod@gmail.com, and we will talk more about the episode, or we will talk more about Ghostbusters, the original movie, next week. So I hope to hear from you, and we will definitely be getting spooky. And if you like the intro or outro music, this is a track that I created called Cemetery Gatekeeping. It is on SoundCloud under the artist name Dankline, Dankline. It is also on Bandcamp, and definitely check it out. If you are a film director and you need someone to make you a spooky score, hey, I'm right there. If you just need some cool music to enjoy, I've got all different kinds of vibes. Check it out. And I hope that you come back and listen to another episode next week with me, Jordan Klein, on Remind Rewind. Thank y'all very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.